Hey again YouTube, Nutjob with Machete back with a quick little campaign slash survival item review for you. What I've got here is, this is the UST Sparkie. You guys might have seen this before, it's been around for a few years. UST also has the Blast Match, which is the big brother of this. What they essentially are, they're a ferro rod inside of a container that has a spring on it so that you can obviously pop it out, and then it's got a striker built in. And the striker is actually housed in here, and you pinch it. You don't just press down on one side, pinch it, and it creates a spark, like so. So it's a neat little overall item. Oh, by the way, it doesn't come with this key ring. This is going to be part of my fiance's kit, so I put the key ring on there. You could also put a lanyard on it, because it does come with, obviously, a hole for it. So, is this thing going to live up to the hype? Well, let's find out. Now, they say there's two ways to do it. Obviously, you saw the first one is put it down like that. They say 90 to 70 degrees and press down. You'll get a spark. Now, I find doing it off to the 90, I feel like I'm going to snap it, so I've been trying to do it above as much as possible and just pressing down sort of fast. That does seem to work. When you go off to the 70, you feel like you have to press down on it a little bit too much. And considering this is basically, near as I can tell, just kind of pinched plastic over it, you don't want to do that, because I have heard of people breaking these. Or else you get this outside, which comes in multiple colors, of course, but I went with emergency orange. This is just a rubber sleeve. You can get this ripping, which of course could introduce foreign material into here and everything. So let's find out if it will light. This is just cotton ball. I will fluff it up just a little bit, almost like you were starting a campfire with this. Now we'll go 90 degrees, pinch, and press. A little more off at an angle, pinch, and press. Okay, let's try a little bit more off at an angle. We'll pinch a little bit more, and we'll try and slide down faster. See, some of those feel like I'm not getting any spark off of them. Now, I might as well bring this up now. What you guys will see is, I mean, obviously when you use a ferro rod a lot, if you use it in one spot, you're just going to get a flat spot, or you're going to get nasty ridges or something like that, like on this, where it's just worn out because it's stuck in one place. Well, this rotates. So obviously every time you rotate it, for instance here, I'm going to have to strike this a couple of times to get this covering off. So cotton ball to the side. Got a few sparks off of it. Now we'll try this again. So, by the way, the reason I pointed that out increases the overall lifespan of this. Okay, let's go right at a 90, pinch and push. There we go. Now I have to admit that took a few times to be able to get that to light. I'm not super pleased with that. By the by, this is going to be lit later. We'll see if it'll light it. So as you saw, it, was able to light it after a few attempts. But let's try the technique where they say you can pinch it and basically strike it. Now, on the back, it does actually tell you how to do so. So this is just the regular push down. This is how to do it one-handed. Now they do recommend that you try the wet fire all-weather tinder, and I can see that definitely working on this. But those will also light with, if you've got a dead butane lighter, or anything that will just throw a spark with a quick wheel, those will also light off that. They're essentially, they're soaked in accelerant, so not really all that impressive. But let's find out. So I'm looking at the little thing, and it is showing a pinch and like this. Now, that is awkward. Okay. The reason they say that you can do the one-handed operation is because obviously if you've got hard surface, that's fine. You can press directly down into the hard surface. But if you've got like a soft surface, it's going to make it a little more difficult for you to press down like that and get a consistent push, or actually get enough resistance to be able to push it all. It might just push your tinder into the ground. So they say that this is one of the other options. And I've been finding that the easiest way to do this is thumb on top and middle finger underneath, like that. Pinch that way and then press with this. Problem? I feel the heat from the sparks on here, so you could burn yourself. And I will try as they show. There we go. That took a few times, but that worked. Put out my tin. So yeah, that actually did work. Obviously, you have to get the technique right, and in a survival scenario, are you going to? Let's find out. I've got this tin. You guys might remember my giant 4.5 hour Sucrets live fire tin. So survival fire in a tin, as I was calling it. So this is just a slightly different version. Let's rough up cotton ball wick in the middle. And we'll assume that the reason I'm using this is I've got like a soft ground and there's no real tinder. So say I can't press directly into it first. And we'll see if I can get it going with the one-handed push and flick, whatever you want to call it. Okay. Get that wick back up. Now I did design this to be pretty easy to start, but that actually worked pretty well. Now let's try just pushing it down. Now the wax is giving a little bit as I'm pressing down, so that does kind of make sense. Started and went out. A little bit more loose cotton going. Press. So what I was doing as I was pressing down, obviously I'm compressing the wick down because you have to have your ferro rod fairly close to it. But as you get closer, the housing presses down on it. So I'll try a few quick, short, rough that up a little bit more. A few quick, short, up and down, but there's not much ferro rod to work with. So this is going to be like 1, 2, 3. See, can't really. You can't seem to get a spark off a really short throw. So obviously trying to do those little short sparks didn't work. So I was still basically compressing that wick down. So let me try with my Kuglins. This is my primary fire steel anyways. Nice little light going. A couple of short throws at the beginning screwed up, but there we go. So what are my final thoughts on the UST Sparkie? I'm not actually all that impressed with it, truthfully. It does throw sparks, obviously, you know, like this, you'll get a spark. But I'm having to press down on my tinder. I might scatter my tinder, I might, you know, push too much air on it. In a survival scenario, I'm not going to go for this in a survival scenario. I'm going to go for something tried and true and consistent. This I can strike with the blade or the spine of most of my knives. I know this will throw a spark. I know this will throw a fat, hot spark. I know this will throw a spark. This doesn't seem to want to throw a spark. This boot seems to be getting in the way. The blast match doesn't have that, so maybe I'll pick up a blast match. But my main problem is this is $10. Now granted, they say it works better with their wet fire, but that's another product I have to buy. $10. This was $5. $5.50 something at Canadian Tire. I can get 2 of these for the price of that. It's a much thicker ferro rod. It's a much longer ferro rod. I can get a lot more fires out of this, and this throws those sparks. So between the two of them, I'm going to go with my tried and true Couglins. That said, if you are just starting out, or you're a kid, or you're a parent and your kids are just starting out, and you wanted something that is relatively safe, you know, you can get them something like this. But as for me, this is going to be probably a backup to a backup. Maybe I'll keep it in my car, or maybe my fiance will want to keep it. So yeah, I'm not super impressed. If it were half the cost, I might buy it, but right now I'm actually kind of disappointed with it. That's about it, guys. Thanks so very much for watching this review of the UST Sparkie. As always, if you like this video, feel free to click like, feel free to subscribe for future videos, and feel free to share this video as much as you possibly want. Until next time, guys, I'm Nutjob with a Machete. Stay sharp.